All right, we're live. Let's go. Post that shit. Let's do it. All right. Update. Yes. I think there was an update that happened. They had to do some server maintenance in the retro rewind. Yeah. Wait, hold up. Okay. Preparing still. We'll see how long that takes. Welcome to stream. I I I was incredibly tired after last week. That fucking stream, that stream on Thursday and having to edit it all afterwards and also doing a short stream on Sunday fucking destroyed me for about 3 days. Uh so I took a break. Took a break. And I'm still not done with that, by the way. I actually have to go back and add timestamps to that video because I want that to be 7 hours of not a terrible viewing experience for most people. So I'm gonna go back. I might actually open the transcript in another window to help me along. Whatever the case, I'm gonna load it up with timestamps so people will know what I'm talking about and when. And like all that sort of stuff to sort of break it up so it doesn't just look like a 6 hour and 40-minute chunk of video coming at you, you know? Uh Even though it premiered and all that, and people actually watched the premiere, a couple people at least, and which was cool. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to worry about that after stream. Uh, I might or might not make the mini beast bit a segment that I did on July 18th, not during the RNC stream. And I have all other stuff to talk about today. Let's see. You know what? Because I'm coming in with this kind of energy, let's start with Britain. I invite every British person who was mauling about my takes on the Labour Party to suck my cock because I was objectively correct on everything that I said about them. Uh, Future me put that before the segment start. Now let's get into it. Uh, so I made a segment about the Labour Party in which I said that the electoral victory that they enjoyed. What did I just join in on? Me gloating about how I was right about the Labour Party and Brits are fucking stupid. Um, at least a lot of Brits. I made a video a while back about how the Labour Party victory in Britain was a hollow victory because they were not meaningfully different than the Tories. They had been reneging on every single left-wing element of their platform to such an extent that, like I said, same parties. And all indications were that once they got elected, they would be doing the same thing that the Tories did, which is furthering the austerity politics, destroying the NHS, and putting Britain even further in the hole. Britain already is barely as wealthy as Mississippi, the poorest state in the US, when you include London, the wealthiest region. Without that, they're just a third world country. And more than that, they did a centrist electoral strategy, which was dead on arrival when it was first tried 30 years ago, and continues to be unpopular today. In fact, they lost votes between 2015, 17, or not 15, 17, 17 and 19, or maybe 15 and 19. The past two elections where Corbyn was in charge of the party saw more votes as a matter of vote total going to the Labour Party than now. And even though the percentage remained relatively consistent, they did not get any meaningful gain in percentage. They were carried by the fact that the Reform Party drew a significant amount of people from the Conservatives. And the interest in the UK election this time around was significantly lower than last time when the Labour Party actually had left-wing leadership in the form of Corbyn and some people surrounding him. Because Labour went through the trouble of ousting every single person that even resembled left-leaning, right? That's just leading up to the election. There's been stuff happening since the election that has further proven me correct on that. Again, British people who doubted me, you can suck my cock. Let's go to Stats for Lefties. That they are one of the biggest British accounts that I follow that cover politics. Breaking. This is from yesterday, July 23rd. The Labour Party is threatening to withdraw the party whip from any MP who votes to scrap the two-child benefit cap. So one of the big problems of austerity politics in Britain is the issue of child poverty. Part of that being a child benefits cap, where basically, if you have more than 2 kids, or even if you have 2 kids, there's a certain cap to the benefits that you can receive from the state. And that cap has actually put a lot of kids in poverty over in Britain. It's kind of like the Social Security tax cap, except worse. And the Labour Party leadership under Keir Starmer, the kid starver, aptly named, decided that they were going to oust any MPs from the Labour Party that voted to eliminate that cap, to allow more funding to go to subsidize poor families with kids. So the vote happened, and then this next tweet up. Breaking: after voting to scrap the two-child benefit cap, Labour has suspended the following MPs, and they list 7 names. This also exactly corresponds to the vote total regarding the child benefit cap. Every Labour MP except for 7 voted to keep the cap. The 7 people who voted to scrap the child benefits cap and thus lift poor families out of poverty, potentially, were ousted from the party. Yeah, only 7 Labour MPs out of 411 voted to scrap the two-child benefit cap. 360 MPs voted to keep it. And then I guess the rest were either not present or didn't vote. And then here we have Stats for Lefties. It goes through some tweets name-dropping politicians that voted against removing the cap, that voted to keep the cap, but were like virtue signaling as though they want to fix child poverty by removing the cap. You know, like the dissonance there. That's not principally what I'm interested in. Let's see. What else do they have? Ah, yes, great. New, a key labor advisor has said those with long-term illnesses should be forced into work in order to, quote, wean Britain off the easy solution of immigration. So they're so committed to being anti-immigration that they're saying, we're going to put chronically sick people back to work just so we can crack down on immigration and have our economy not die. Never mind the fact that the economy's going to fucking tank anyways if you crack down on immigration as a fucking Western country. This is via the Times. Alan Milburn, an ally of Wes Streeting, which is the health secretary, called for conditions to be imposed on sickness benefits. So literally, the Labour Party in Britain is literally just indistinguishable from the Tories. I will be accepting apologies. There will be a, the link to the apology form in the description. That's a joke. Apologies are all open-ended. You can apologize to me in the form of a YouTube comment if you so wish. There is no form for that. But again, before anybody does that, I invite every Brit that defended Keir Starmer's Labour Party to suck my cock, because I do not value you or your opinion. And like, I don't know who you thought you were fooling, honest to God. It's just going to be more of this. The Labour Party has demonstrated that they are more willing to oust left-wing leadership than they are to uh, like embracing even moderate social democratic policymaking of like expanding the social safety net. They've demonstrated that they're like willing to just become the Tories, even when the Tories have blatantly destroyed the country. And Labour even use that as a talking point. They just like they don't care. The Labour Party it like has been taken over by shiftless centrist grifters who have friends in the business world and who are ultimately just going to plunge the United Kingdom further into the hole. And honestly, unless the Liberal Democrats and the Greens become the major left-wing bloc in Britain, there isn't a way out of this. Britain's just gonna get fucked up. And I'm only able to take a modicum of pleasure in seeing all the Labour Party defenders immediately humiliated and disproven. Because like I know that their lives are gonna probably get worse too. You know? Like if you're a loser enough to be pursuing people online over this shit, you probably don't have that much to your name. Like this is gonna be bad. You know? Christ, man. Meanwhile, I can't connect to the server here. There was an error during login. Yeah, modern day Britain's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. Like the Labour Party was going around making concessions to business people, meeting with J.K. Rowling apropos of nothing, just to like say, "Hey, do you want to set our platform?" The fuck? Like specifically with regards to trans people too. Superiority feelings starting to cost them their lives. EU. Yeah, they're just a declining. They're just a declining empire that has very little left in the way of relevance. And like what they have is tied to transphobia. They're kind of doomed to a death spiral ultimately. Like that's it. It's curtains for them. Anyways, Retro Rewind isn't working. I'll have to boot up CTGP. Change the stream info. Sorry, there's not going to be much gameplay for that one. I might just have the segment be confined to my webcam and the chat there, but yeah. I might make that a segment. Really, it's just frustrating to see Brits be so in denial about the state of their own country, because holy shit, you guys are going down the toilet, economically speaking. And honestly, it's your own fault. Like, seriously. If any Brits are watching. Not you specifically, but like Britain is at fault for the economic state of Britain. Like the politicians and political interest groups and corporations and whatever, all the power brokers, the political power brokers and economic power brokers in Britain are at fault for the state of Britain right now. And no amount of austerity politics is going to fix that, because austerity politics is what made things in Britain so bad to begin with. Like, that's why the crisis exists. That is the crisis. You're not going to fix the crisis with more of the crisis. In fact, given the path that the Labor Party has been taking, I'm kind of expecting the Reform Party to gain ground next election. You know, assuming Labor keeps shutting out the left systematically, we're probably going to see a Reform UK like opposition government next election, or potentially a majority government uh next election, because like there's obviously not going to be a left-wing option. So what else is there? The insane right? You know, like that's it. Leaving the EU, you should have attacked Ireland. Get shit on by the rest of Western Western world. Works for Russia. You easily deleted Ireland as a bonus. Nice meme. Honestly, I think that the correct choice of action there would have been to pursue a path of reconciliation with Ireland, which ultimately would have involved giving back Northern Ireland, and then reintegrating or further integrating with the EU, trying to rebuild unions in Britain, and like, well, again, inch further to the left. Like, this is a lot of this is informed by my ideological priorities of expanding democracy to encompass the economy, as well as, like, you know, having a politically democratic system. But like, seriously, countries that decide to reject economic democracy and reject unions and reject like worker involvement, they're just doomed to fail. And you know, a lot of that is all fine and good for big shareholders and corporate types, but like everybody else gets fucking hung out to dry. The workers get hung out to dry, and that kills entire societies. You know, it truly is, the decision truly is between socialism or barbarism, and the UK chose barbarism. Sorry, you guys have to deal with the consequences of that now, and there's no you know, there's no going into denial about it at this point. Anyways, future me end the segment there. For all the British lefties out there, I do feel a profound sense of sympathy, because I know that a lot of leftists in Britain have been raising the fucking alarm bells like crazy about this. And it's just super unfortunate that like the you know, the Labour Party and the Tories, the two parties of the capital class, were so committed to not listening to them. Yeah, more Brits voted for Corbyn than Starmer. Like I said earlier. Um, yeah. But actually, it was actually thanks to both the electoral system and thanks to the Reform Party being there. If the Reform Party wasn't an option on the ballot, Labour would have lost. They owe their victory to the Reform Party in this instance. The Labour Party does. What meager victory they had. Um, but yeah, look, that's all I had. Cut the segment there, if that becomes a segment. Yeah, conservatives would have. Oh no, wait, no. I don't think I agree. Conservatives would not have stayed home rather than vote for reform. They would probably have voted conservative, most likely, right? Just as a matter of ideological tendencies. If it like, obviously we're not living in this world and this isn't terribly realistic, but if reform wasn't nearly as prominent or competent in like campaigning, or if they just didn't exist at all, like snap your fingers, there's no reform party, all the people that voted reform would have been voting conservative, or at least a good number of them would, such that the Labour Party probably would have lost. You know, you look at the amount of votes that the Reform Party got, they got 14% of the popular vote. That would have been easily enough to put the Tories at like way more votes than Labour, which is fucking embarrassing given how much space the Labour Party had to maneuver. Track's very goofy. I kind of like it. I think there are some like It's very... There are some elements of it that are very outdated, but I think that it's not, like, as confusing as something like Six King Labyrinth. Even though there's a lot of bright colors, you can pretty easily tell, like, okay, you can go here, and then you go here, and, like, you're probably not going to be running into that many walls on this track. And I appreciate that, at the very least. Oh, that's a lot of off-road that I just went through. Okay. I'm going to be monitoring the Retro Rewind Discord to see if the servers come back up. The servers were down earlier. I think they're having to go through a few updates because there's, like, I don't know, there's been, like, people hacking or something. Either way, right now it's CTGP, and it looks like we got some pretty small rooms, but that's fine. Oh, Bowser's Termination Station. One of my favorite custom tracks. Love this track. By the way, make sure to let me know if there's any lag or delay at all in the audio, if there's any audio problems. I'm almost positive that I've fixed those since the RNC stream, but at the same time, like, I can't be 100% sure, because OBS and Elgato get up to some weird shit. This guy seems to know the track better than me. But I'm getting better items because I'm in second. Oh, he didn't know about this. Interesting. Yeah, nice try. Ow. Dang. No, I tried to do the thing that he did, but I couldn't. Where are you supposed to go off there, I wonder? I don't know. If I get a blue shell, I'm back in it, but otherwise... Yeah, fake item box. What the fuck? Dude, item roulettes in 1v1 rooms are so goofy. You know? Honestly, the worst part about having a 1v1 room is that if you're not in first, you actually just straight up don't get to play the whole track. And that's a shame because I really like this track. How many people are online right now? Okay, there's a bigger room. Uh, what is this? I didn't see. Oh, Bowser Jr.'s fort. Okay, nice. Oh yeah, you guys see Netanyahu is gonna address the U.S. Congress this week, so that's gonna be something. Ow. You got people like Bernie Sanders calling him a war criminal, which is appropriate. Not quite. I try to be a little bit cheeky. And plenty of Congress people have actually vowed to not be there for his speech, which I think is cool. So, like, yeah, I'm not gonna attend this speech. I tried to get him around this corner. Where do you stand on the new Democratic presidential candidate? Objective improvement over Joe Biden. And that's what matters right now. You know? She's pretty good, all things considered. Like, yeah, she's a cop, but electorally, that can play to her benefit in certain ways. And like, she's also, like, she's capable of stringing together a full sentence. If you saw the video that I made about Kamala as the candidate, you'll know my, like, full thoughts on her. You know, she would win against Trump. Biden would not. What's going on there? Oh. It's too bad that, like, this room is so small. It's, like, kind of uneventful. Yeah, okay. It's actually really fascinating to see that the right really has nothing on Kamala Harris. Like, you know, usually with time there would be some opposition, like, research that would reveal something, right? But nothing really. Ah, cool. Big room. You know, the right, like I said in that video that I made, all the right has is she's black, she's a woman, and she laughs. Even despite, like, there being more more time with them to come up with something, they don't have anything. And like I said, they're playing off of blatant racism and sexism because that's all they know. There's plenty of latent, more subtle racism and sexism in America, but the GOP is so hopped up on their own fascism, they're incapable of tapping into that because they would have to, like, deconsolidate. Heard my mom talk about this morning with her girlfriend. They first said quite the improvement. It felt like a real person in comparison to Trump. Yes, who they then talked about with 100% disgust and hate. Yeah, Trump is like a sleazebag all the way. He was just a better candidate than Joe Biden. The bar was so low, and you know, Kamala Harris cleared it effortlessly because she's actually a decent enough, she's a pretty good candidate on the Democratic side. Um, You know, she is in some ways a more genuine person. She obviously is a politician that has to navigate the political system, but she's not like an out and out fraudster like Trump, you know? Her big sticking points even on the campaign so far are like we're gonna fight against Project 2025. We're going to expand like education funding, I think. And we're gonna pursue fraudsters or something. They have to build like they'll have to build a platform to talk about, not like in the sense of like only talking about policy, but they're gonna have to have some sort of substance behind the narrative that they have eventually. Hope she'll have enough time for a campaign and shit. Rip those millions that were spent on Biden. Were you not paying attention to my other video? She has those millions now. There is no rip those millions. She got those millions. That money is no longer in the Biden campaign because now it's the Harris campaign. Kamala Harris got that millions of dollars of fundraising. And in fact, the Democratic Party broke fundraising records. And I mean all-time fundraising records. In one day, the Democratic campaign for Kamala Harris raised more money than has ever been raised for another presidential candidate in an entire cycle. They raised like $250 million in a single day, which is more than Trump had raised over 7 months. And I think now it might even be up to $500 million, which is more than like any presidential campaign in American history has ever had. They've got money, and believe me when I say they have time too. Remember when the lead up to the French election was happening, and the French left in 2 weeks, consolidated together, and basically like with collective leadership, mind you, was able to settle on a platform and a like collective leadership scheme, and was able to like strategize with the liberals to defeat the far right. That was in 2 weeks. We have more than 2 months for this. We have time and money to spare. In fact, those things are now on the Democratic side rather than the Republican side. It was the case that the Republicans had more had more money since Biden was like really, really bad on fundraising. But I think I clicked a regular worldwide. Like, your concern there, it really should be the opposite. Holy shit, we have so much time and so much money. That's what's going on right now. It's just a matter of them being able to spend it. Ah, I got into the big room, finally. Recognize RBN. Hamburger. True. Links I recognize. That guy I recognize. Okay. Alright, I hope she'll clap him. All the data we have indicates that she will. In fact, polling has been another beast entirely. I've mentioned that Democratic internal polling has Kamala up like 2 or 3 percentage points against Trump. And like I said, that's was that a Dutch guy called YouTube? Yes, it was. I mentioned that those margins are going to improve with time. There are some polls now that have Kamala Harris at about even with Donald Trump. But wait, because there's a catch to those polls. Those polls are the kind of clickbait, like not scientifically valid kind of polls, you know, that were invented by the devil to give you anxiety. Because if you look closer, like I looked at one of them, and the longer I looked, the worse it got. First off, they only sampled 400 people. Second, the 400 people they sampled were all likely voters, which means these are the people that are voting every time. These aren't the people you need to be asking. You need to be asking the people that don't usually vote, that are going to that might end up voting this time, because Kamala Harris is an energizing force. Thirdly, there was a prerequisite question to even be interviewed for the poll. What young person is going to fucking answer pollster questions? They're selecting out all of the people that Kamala Harris is going to galvanize to vote for her this cycle to produce polls like this. And even still, with undersampling independents, completely ignoring young people, and only asking 400 respondents, a laughable sample size, given that this is a supposedly a scientific venture. Even then, at best, Trump is even with Kamala Harris in terms of popular support. Hell, for some of these polls, I've made video segments about this before, where for some of the polls, they have to oversample Republicans. They have to ask almost exclusively far-right people, and even still, they can't give the far-right candidate a very big lead, even when they have such a skewed database. Or database, whatever. Look, all of the polling right now indicates, if you're political science literate, all the polling right now indicates, oh, Kamala's gonna fucking mop the floor with Trump, either directly because it's a good poll, or indirectly because it's a poll that's so bad that they had to specifically look for circumstances that would produce a 50-50 result. Polling, in general, polling should be thought of, at least in the United States, as an instrument of aid for the far right. Because that's what it does. It's a misinformation campaign. Doesn't matter how much the people doing the polling realize it or not. That is what they're doing. They're doing a scattershot RT-style campaign of disinformation, giving every possible perspective at once, knowing that some of them are going to be wrong. In fact, most of them are going to be wrong, and that all of them are misleading, with the eventual effect of generating apathy in the American public, which cedes ground to the far right. That enables the far right to gain ground when there's all this apathy and stuff. So don't pay too much attention to the polling, or if you are paying attention, be aware that every poll is designed to make things look worse for left-leaning causes and candidates than it actually is. I'll take that. Or maybe not. Okay. I think once I get past here. Do this. Really good bullet. As I say that. No. Give me that. Yes. Ow. I think I got fifth. They also talked about how, in their opinion, Americans are so crazy with their guns and food sizes. No idea how they got from guns to hamburger or women. Certified woman moment. Yeah, it is a very, normie, hand-wringy, liberal thing to just talk about, hamburger, AR-15 hamburger, or whatever. Yeah. Really, the thing America is crazy with is how, alienating the infrastructure profile is. That's what creates a lot of gun violence in America, rather than strictly the presence of guns. And then the food sizes, I actually agree, because regulations are so much more lax in America than in Europe that you get a lot of shit in the food that's, straight up banned in Europe. which results in worse quality food, which results in the obesity crisis and whatever. So ironically, their concerns are more warranted about the hamburgers than the guns. You know? Very true. Yeah. You know, I think I've talked about this a little bit before. Proportional to the amount of guns that are in circulation, the US doesn't have that high of a rate of gun violence. You know? Obviously there's a lot of fucking guns in the US, but it's mostly due to a lot of it is due to like far-right radicalization, isolation, mental health problems and stuff. Systemic stuff that can be addressed and that right-wingers are, you know, not going to address because they don't want to. But it's like, you know, it's a whole thing. I didn't get an item. Regrettable. He really just tried to end me there, huh? Get out of here. The best item. Let's go. I got a low trick on that? I should have veered off earlier. That would have let me get more air. Okay, cool. They got everybody after the boxes. That means I can do this. Yes. Is there a box coming up? I think there is, right? Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna do. Boom! Go for it, dude. Nice. Fourth place. Good shit, good shit. Oh boy, Netanyahu is holding his speech live, apparently. Candy bars 41%, hot dogs 48%. Only one just craving a hot dog, let's be honest, here, Europe. Who wakes up and says, oh, I'd like a hot dog? True. I'm not much of a hot dog guy myself. Fast food drinks 90% larger. Mind-blowing. Yeah. The one thing that I will unironically defend about food in America is just the fact that you get a free, you get, like, free refills and you get water for free at any restaurant. Like, if you ask for water, you don't have to pay for the water. But if you ask for a different drink, you do have to pay for that because there's, like, a manufacturing process or whatever. I think I'm going to watch the Netanyahu speech. C-SPAN. Watch live? Oh, shit. Crap, I have to race this track first. And then I will be able to watch the Netanyahu speech. It's gonna be content as fuck. Yeah, we got a reaction. We love React content. Yeah, take that shit. It'll have to be after this race, but it's a speech, so it's probably gonna go on for a while. And even if I can't react to it like 100% in real time, I'm gonna be able to react to it in some capacity. Boys and girls, of course. Well, yeah. Ah, dang. Yo, what's up, Bowser? Oh, he's on the Sneakster? What a homie. Nice, got the item. Perfect. I don't know if there's a great place for me to really use this mushroom, but... I don't know, I suppose I'll try. Let's go. I'm gaining time on these guys. This is... Mach Bike is so good on custom tracks. I can't believe I just outlined that guy when he had a rotating red shell. That was, could have ended really bad, but it didn't, so I'm glad. I'm gonna use this here, I don't know. Oh, that destroyed those guys behind me. Oh, baby. Box? Exactly the right time to get big. Are you liking the Mach Bike, mate? Ah, no. He wasn't liking it all that much. I'm maintaining second. You can't have it. Alright. You come down here. You... Oh, oops. You move up here. React Andy? Oh, it looks like he's just about to start the speech, too. This is perfect. Alright, properties. Where's C-SPAN? There it is. Okay, good. Wait, fuck. Let's move it down. Yes. Okay, good, 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 good. Fucking war criminal. Genocidal dickhead. Maniac. You'll notice there's a bunch of vacant seats right around here. Some people decided not to show up. Mostly Democrats. You can see up here, it's probably too small, but there's a lot of press in the gallery. Look at this fuck, this entitled fuck. He's nodding like, yeah, that's right, applaud for me. Fucking cheer me on as I nuke Palestinian babies. He's not using nukes, but you know what I mean.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of
His
Israel.
Excellency. Fucking... Remember getting to Mario Kart so hard on this track? Yeah, people really do be getting Mario Karted. I thought I was... to avoid getting really bumped at that point. No, I didn't get an item. That's unfortunate. This is... okay.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
I actually sincerely hope that this speech is, like, partisan as fuck.
Distinguished guests.
Because nobody likes Netanyahu, and it would be great if that image were tied to the Republican Party.
I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time. We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East,
Good place for me to get shocked.
of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends.
But does he condemn
This
Hamas,
is
though?
not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
Oh, wow. Being even more fascist than previously thought possible. Great. I'm not just regular fascist, I'm turbo-fascist.
Between those who glorify death and those who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together.
Instant, like, Nazi shit, by the way. You hear the fucking, oh, this is civilization versus barbarism. Like, that means you're dealing with a Nazi. This fucking guy just wants to mulch Palestinians.
Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
So far, not much specific. I mean, that's perfectly in line with the vibes-based model of fascist politic thus far, but, like,
And my friends, I came
we'll
to
see.
assure you
Oh
today,
shit, Rashida Tlaib is in the crowd?
we will win.
Rashida Tlaib is the only Palestinian-American serving in Congress at the moment. So it would be interesting to see if she had some kind of, like, profound reaction to this. Actually, no, 20.
Ladies and gentlemen,
1.6 is fine.
like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is
Wow,
the
that's
day
crazy.
when
Did you know about
Palestinian
October
Palestinians
7th?
came from-
That's crazy.
It was the
You're
Jewish
just telling me about
holiday
this now for the
Hanukkah.
first time.
It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next
Going
to
through
Gaza,
the details.
suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately,
I think there's also something to be said about the Israeli-friendly fire incidents that took place on that day as well. A not insignificant portion of the civilians that were killed on October 7th were due to Israeli military having really, really fucking bad discipline.
babies alive.
That doesn't, like,
They
make
killed parents
Hamas
in front of their children.
good, right? Still a far-right Islamist militant group that committed atrocities and killed, like, 1,000 plus people. But, you know, basically from the jump, Israel was already, like, not super concerned about the civilians. It just goes to indicate attitudes that they've further, like, followed up on and confirmed since then. Oh my god, this shortcut is so broken.
Is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife Sarah. On the morning.
Oh, good attempt, Grant. I respect it. Alluding to the hostages, I didn't mean to put that back. Even though he doesn't care enough to bring them home.
As she was violently abducted to Gaza on the back of a motorcycle. I met Noah's mother, Leora, a few months ago. She was dying of cancer. She said to me, Prime Minister, I have one final wish.
My wish is for you to kill all the Palestinians, and so we did. Oh, okay.
One last time before I die.
He might not be that comfortable with being open with it here.
I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnon's Morat.
It is telling, though, I think, that he's willing to be really open with this shit in Israel, and not so much in the United States, which indicates that, like, he fully knows that what he's doing is genocidal, right?
Noah, I think one of the most moving things, when Noah was reunited with her mother Leora, and her mother's last wish came true. Noah,
Damn.
we're so thrilled to have you with us today.
Erase that pretty well when you get 6, but that's fine. Of course, using the family of a hostage as a political prop is you know, part of the repertoire and such.
Many hostage families are also here with us today, including
Oh, even more.
Eliel Bibas.
Classic tokenism. The thing about this, right? Like,
Is the grandfather
if he really cared about the
of those
hostages,
two
he would be
beautiful
negotiating
red-headed
directly
boys,
with
the
Hamas to
Bibas
secure the
boys.
release of those hostages,
they were
instead
taken
of
hostage.
bombing areas
With
where
their mother
hostages are known to be.
and Ross.
Like,
Sorry. And
the clapping would get me
Eliel's
so annoyed. Heck, I
son.
saw my
They
hands
were
off
taken
if I
hostage.
could.
Beautiful red-haired children.
They're clapping, number one, because it's polite, and number two, because remember, half the people in this room are Republicans. They're fascists. They probably like all the shit that he's saying. The Democrats, like, that are here are probably, like, applauding because, like, I don't know, it's polite or whatever. Oh, there's Elon Musk!
Making their
Right
way
here.
back to our lines.
You
We
see
have
him?
with us also the families of American hostages. They're here.
Elon Musk never one to shy away from an opportunity to be fucking racist against brown people. You know, that's why he's here. It's because, like, you know, fascists fucking love each other.
The
They,
pain
they
these
uh,
families have
you know, they
endured
love when other fascists do fascist
is
things, so
beyond
they, like,
words. I met with them
all do
again
that shit.
yesterday, and I promised them this. I will not rest until all their loved ones are home.
I'm gonna turn off the captions.
As we speak, we're actively engaged in intensive efforts to secure their release, and I'm confident that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now.
They're not engaged in any such efforts, by the way. because any such efforts involve, like, potentially doing a ceasefire. In fact, any efforts to release the hostages would involve a ceasefire, which means that Netanyahu would be categorically unwilling to do it.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten.
Cat's cute just got me distracted. Started sleeping on my foot. Aw, we love our little kitties. Kitty cat.
President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank him for half a century of friendship to Israel and for being, as he says,
No,
a proud Zionist. Actually, he says a proud Irish-American Zionist.
Damn. I was hoping Netanyahu was gonna be dumb, but he might be a little bit smarter than I
For more
thought.
than 9 months, Israel's soldiers have shown boundless courage. With us today,
No, I drifted the wrong way on that mushroom prior, so I got fucked.
with us today
Do this.
is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven.
Okay, cool.
Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers. His family immigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. In the early hours of October 7th, Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put
Okay,
on his
fourth.
uniform.
Actual skill issue, not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to pick and choose when I'm focusing and
So he
paying
ran
attention to
8
this,
miles
you
to
know,
the front
versus
lines
the
of
race
Gaza
and
to
whatever.
defend his people.
So far, this has been pretty
You heard
standard,
that right?
as far as a fascist speech goes.
Came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives.
Killed many terrorists. Many such cases. By terrorists, he means Palestinians, of course. Netanyahu does not distinguish between Hamas and Palestinians because to him, all Palestinians are Hamas. You'll find the same for a lot of Zionists and a lot of, you know, is like, especially the Israeli Zionists, because there's a degree of, like, there's such a propaganda machine about that. The classic tokenism bit. They're getting the least white Israelis that they can show off as, like, our brave soldiers and stuff. It's so awkward that everyone just stares at you. You gotta stand there for a statue, like, since he's from the military. Yeah. Then again, I don't have very much sympathy for these people because they are part of the Israeli military, so their job involves killing Palestinians for a living. And Netanyahu is, in fact, commending them for killing Palestinians. You know? Like, their job is to kill civilians. Any sympathy I have for them, like, dissolves before the point that Netanyahu selected them to be, like, present at this, you know? Because in order for Netanyahu to, like, pick somebody to be here, they probably would have to be, like, a hardline Zionist of some stripe, you know?
Asa fought as an officer in the tank corps, and he was wounded in battle. He was wounded in battle while protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade. He He lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye. He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank.
People don't know about this, I guess. Kind of crazy. They know about other stuff, but they don't know about this shortcut.
I just learned there's a fourth hero
Damn
here.
it.
Lieutenant Jonathan Ben Hamel, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight.
I'm playing this really bad right now. So far, it's more just like support the troops kind of rhetoric. In my opinion, probably a decently smart move, because like that's something that would be like standard enough to both Republicans and Democrats. You know, from Netanyahu's perspective, some of this is actually good politics because he's trying to. Okay, that's not playing quite as well. I don't know.
As the Bible says, Am Kilavi Yakum, they shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah.
Biblical language. This plays better to Republicans usually. Wow, first place is way up there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm just hoping for something really partisan so he can kind of give away the game that he wants Republicans to be elected.
every ethnicity, every color, every creed, left and right, religious and secular, all are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a
Okay.
young man, Yechiel moved
About the
to
Holocaust, of course.
Israel and raised a family of 8 children. He named his eldest son Moshe after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commander units.
It is worth noting that Israelis fucking hate Holocaust survivors because they see them as weak. This is reflected in a lot of the social media posts that the Israeli government, the official accounts, by the way, have been putting out, where they're like, "Oh, yesterday's Jews were killed in the Holocaust. Today's Jews are strong, and we do the killing," or some shit like that. You know.
At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust,
The fuck? Yeah, that's a hallmark of
it would be
fascism.
in our collective memory.
These guys are.
The photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air.
The Israeli fascists very ideologically similar to the Nazis, and fascists fucking hate weakness. To them, the Holocaust survivors were bad Jews because they were weak and allowed themselves to be put in that position in the first place. They like they share basically every tenet of ideology with the Nazis. The difference is just they are Jewish Nazis, whereas the Nazis were like more Protestant coded. You know, and you know their chosen minorities are different, where it's like, oh, we hate the Jews, we hate the Palestinians. You know,
Yechiel, please
the
rise
logic
and honor
underlying
your
all of that
sacrifice.
is the exact
And I
same.
pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not be in vain, because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It must always remain a sacred vow. And after October 7th, never again is now. My friends, defeating our brutal enemies requires both courage and clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil. They stand with Hamas.
Classic, taking pot shots at the protesters, of course.
People came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the two babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murdered the families.
Yes, because not wanting Israel to commit a genocide does mean, in fact, the exact same thing as supporting Hamas, or whatever the fuck.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
You'll hear a lot of cheering from the Republican side, of course, because the Republicans also fucking hate student protesters. Oh, perfect. Nice fellas stayed in their seats, my homies. Yeah, like I said, half the people here are Republicans, so they ideologically support what Netanyahu is doing. They, like, it's not just for them, it's not just a polite thing. It's a, like, they fundamentally agree with what he's saying thing, you know? A lot of the Democrats are the ones that are remaining seated and not necessarily clapping, because the Democrats fucking hate Netanyahu. And they, like, you know, a lot of Democrats probably think that what he's doing is very bad, in fact, you know. Been known to happen.
Burn American flags even on the 4th of July. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag, against these anti-Israel protesters.
I got a red shell. Here, have that. Chanting USA. Yeah, because that makes sense. Sure.
For all we know, Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on.
Yay, shock dodge. Ow. Damn it.
Not that many, but they're there and throughout the city. Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for...
By the way, Netanyahu is also anti-gay. Israel is incredibly fucking homophobic, and gay marriage is illegal there. They're doing this as a virtue signal because they know that a lot of Americans wouldn't know any better. They wouldn't know the difference. But he fundamentally, his ideology is more similar to that of Iran than that of the United States, like as a governing philosophy. When they say, like, oh, gays are being hanged in Iran, they want to do that in Israel, too. You understand? They just know that they're playing to a crowd that has a certain pedestrian level of support for gay rights. So they're trying to virtue signal in that way.
Amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC. These protesters
What?
chant from the
That,
river
like,
to the sea.
what the fuck? Yeah, wow. There's homophobia in Gaza. Therefore, all gay people should be okay with obliterating Gaza into the ground. What? That's not how this fucking works, dude. There are people that live there. But again, to him, Palestinians aren't people.
Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled?
Yeah, see, Hakeem Jeffries, one of the more centrist Dems, is very reluctantly clapping. Compared gay and Israel to chickens and KFC. Gay and Gaza.
The land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home.
In fact, Israel has historically blackmailed a lot of gay people to be informants in Palestine, which has actually worsened the situation for for Palestinians, because they know that, like, Israel loves to use gay people as a wedge and then basically discard them to the Islamic Jihad and Hamas, which will kill you if you're gay, by the way. But, like, Israel worsens that. They exacerbate that. Because they also hate gay people.
80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews.
That's just sad. Yeah, I mean, that's what fascists do.
They said, it depends on the context. Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context.
Classic. You know what? This is actually the first major rhetorical blunder I've seen him make, is attacking academia.
For centuries, the massacre
You know?
of Jews was always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells, to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs.
Because a lot of people recognize that, like, yeah, professors are, you know,
And ultimately,
they're just professors.
history's worst genocide.
Grr, I hate the educated. Netanyahu, probably.
Just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slander
Sit your white asses down and listen. A Jewish man is speaking.
meant to delegitimize,
I'm sorry, I had to.
demonize
It was
the
too
Jewish
funny.
state and to demonize Jews everywhere. And no wonder.
Oh, no.
wonder we've witnessed an
At least
appalling
he
rise of
understands. What?
anti-Semitism in America and around the world.
Hate him a little less? No.
Whenever
No, that was a
and
joke.
wherever
He's using his, like,
scourge of anti-Semitism
he's basically bludgeoning Congress with his Jewishness to say, look, anti-Semitism exists, therefore we should be allowed to genocide the Palestinians. You shouldn't hate him less for that. You should hate him more. Because he's saying, oh, the Jewish state is, like, an object of anti-Semitism or whatever. Like, the Jewish people equals the Jewish state. He's doing a Nazi talking point right now. He's equating the Volk with the state, you know? This is one of the parts of Don't Care band clapping. True.
against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes
A good point.
speak
Okay,
in
gotcha,
public
gotcha.
tones about law and justice. Here's a case in point. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately
What the
starving
fuck?
the people of
I've
Gaza.
never been
This
bumped
is
like that
utter
before.
complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication. Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of food. And that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza.
That's a verifiable lie. Not even true, remotely.
Who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it, it's because Hamas is stealing it.
Now, Israel is blocking that aid. Egypt is also blocking the aid. And Israel's also bombing what aid does get through to Gaza. The amount of aid that's gotten through is probably about, like, anywhere from the order of 1 to 10% the amount of aid necessary to even sustain a bare minimum standard of life in Gaza for the population there. They've been systematically trying to make it as hard as possible for aid to get through. He's just lying here to
Millions of text messages.
partially to do, like, PR, but also because he, like, doesn't care, because he has such a disdain for,
Out of
like,
harm's way.
anybody who thinks
But at
Palestinians
the
are
same
people.
time,
Isn't
Hamas
Egypt
does
against Israel and
everything
buzz with
in its power
Palestine? Not exactly.
to put
Egypt is like trying to pursue its own interests. It has its own commercial interests since they control the Suez Canal. Yeah, Egypt, like, basically what had been going on, the way that Israel was blocking the aid is that there's this, like, dual inspection system. Israel sends the aid over to Egypt to
Palestinian women and
like,
children excel at being human
to
His words, excel at
like
being
be
human
inspected.
shields.
Egypt sends it back to Israel. Israel sends it back to Egypt. Any one of them in that process could send it into Gaza. Egypt just doesn't really want to do that. They're trying to play both sides of the conflict, which means blocking some of the aid. Egypt has been weirdly obstinate except for when the U.S. presses on them, because Egypt knows that the U.S. has more sway than Israel in this situation.
This would enable Hamas to survive another day, and as they vowed, to carry out October 7th again and again and again.
Listen to the doublespeak, too, that he's saying, oh, we let so much food through, but also we shouldn't be letting food through because that's all the food is going to Hamas, you know? Like, oh, you should be grateful we're letting through all this food, but also the food shouldn't be getting through because, you know, Hamas.
The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members, who continue to support us, continue to support Israel, continue to support the truth, and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's conch job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point. He studied every major urban conflict. I was going to say in modern history. He corrected me, no, in history. Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires.
Not true. Not even remotely. Again, verifiably false.
That's why, despite all the lies you've heard,
Jeez.
the war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare.
Because they're treating all civilians as
Want
combatants.
to know where it's lowest in Gaza?
Remember the recent Lancet estimates? All, like, by conservative estimates, over 200,000 people have died in Gaza already.
Maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed.
The majority of them civilians.
Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited
And it's, you know, more by the day, by the minute even.
I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none, with the exception of a single incident.
Again, like I said, because they're not treating Palestinians like civilians. To them, there's no such thing as a civilian in this conflict.
24 people? The answer is practically none. You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it.
Oh my god! I keep getting bumped, like, fuck.
These
Jeez,
heroes
dude.
here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be condemned for how they're conducting the war in Gaza. They should be commended for it.
Blatantly, fucking... Well, he does believe they should be commended, but what he believes they should be commended for is, killing Palestinians, so...
I want to thank all of you here today who have forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. These lies are not only libel,
Rip.
they're downright dangerous. The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves. And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next.
Damn, that's
I'll tell you what else is
crazy.
next.
Going after the international court system that's in charge of deeming who is a war criminal and who isn't. I wonder what kind of person would possibly have beef with the system that determines who is or isn't a war criminal. Potentially a war criminal? Curious. I fucking hate Netanyahu so much.
My friends, in the Middle East, Iran is virtually behind all the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos.
Everything is Iran's fault. Everything is Muslims' fault. Everything is Palestinians' fault.
When he founded the Islamic Republic,
Which by proxy is Iran's fault. So we need to nuke Iran and wipe Palestine off the map. Thank you. That's the implication of what he's saying. Like, that's a hyperbolic rendition, but like, that's the end state of his beliefs.
Which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world?
Bro is talking about them like they're a cartoon villain. Meanwhile, he's up here like...
the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power.
He's up here fucking Western civilization posting and being like, yeah, you know who there's a real bad guy? Iran.
That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month, I heard a revealing comment.
I actually got that part.
Ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America. Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power. In 1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond. In Beirut, they killed 241 U.S. servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers.
No, I
In
fuck
America,
messed up.
they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as
Fucking
they recently
citation
left, they
needed,
even
bro.
briefly threatened to
The
assassinate
fuck?
President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer...
Did he just blame Iran for the assassination attempt on Trump? What the fuck?
including the
That is goofy, dude.
and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel.
Okay.
That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas,
What?
we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight
Okay, here's what I was talking about. All of this is Iran's fault. We have to nuke Iran, etc., etc.
and murderous
Yeah.
enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing. When
Best
Israel
item in the
acts
game. Let's go.
to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from. We're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you.
Damn, if only somebody hadn't taken us out of the Iran nuclear deal. Somebody who, quite conveniently, Netanyahu supports. He doesn't actually care about, like, He doesn't actually care about de-escalating tensions to eliminate threats to Israel. What he cares about is escalating things to a point where he can use warfare to nominally achieve the same gains. My man's just wants to kill people. Muslims in particular, because he doesn't think they're people. But, like... If the here's all the talk about victory again. Again, anybody who's read 1984 knows exactly what this kind of language is meant for. But if the actual concern were to make sure Iran isn't like this weird this threat in the Middle East or whatever, then every country would be normalizing relations with them so that the tensions can simmer down and be kind of at like a maybe slightly adversarial but more cordial and non-confrontational level. That way, like, everybody wins.
Attacked Israel on
Nuking the whole Middle East sounds nice for the USA to get rid of all these wars, but the damn oil. Yeah, like,
thousands of missiles and drones
it's
against
basically the talking points he's engaging in. It's like, yeah, fuck the Middle East.
in northern
Except for us, Israel,
evacuated
that
their
is.
homes,
You know.
becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically.
My man's using
let me be
refugee
clear.
as like a pejorative. Like,
Israel
can you
will do
believe it? They've
whatever
become
must do
refugees in
to
their own
restore
land.
security to our northern
Damn.
border and return our people safely to their homes.
To be clear, I mean, that's probably what's on his mind, right? Like, and as much as things have kind of calmed down on that front with those talking points in the U.S., that's still the discourse in Israel.
Last Friday, a third Iranian proxy, the Houthis, attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few hundred feet from the American consulate, killing one person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this. Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves,
Nice. Fucking sniped myself.
and as we defend ourselves on all fronts, I know that America.
Oh, I got hit by that
has
green shell,
our
huh?
back. And I thank you for it.
I like this item.
All sides of the aisle. Thank you. My friends, for decades, America has provided Israel with generous military assistance. And a grateful Israel has provided America with critical intelligence that saved many lives. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on Earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on Earth that help protect both our countries.
He means nukes. This is him saying that we have nukes without saying directly we have nukes.
Help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East.
Holy shit, I can't believe I made that.
I deeply appreciate America's support, including
Oh,
in
nice.
this
They
current
shocked me
war.
into the boxes.
But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid could dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal
The
to
front line of
America.
civilization. Again, only fascists talk like this. Yeah, liberals don't talk like this. This is a significant difference between liberals and fascists. Oh, perfect. Get rid of this.
My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages.
Yeah, and then it would just become even more massacres. Hamas has, like, offered some incredible peace terms, given what their interests are. They've been like, look, we will stop fighting. We'll give all the hostages back, whatever. Just stop bombing. And Israel has said no, because Israel's priority is to keep bombing.
Destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat
My
Hamas,
man's is bloodthirsty right
a
now.
new Gaza could emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, But for the foreseeable
Blatant
future,
lie, by the
we
way.
must
Israel
maintain
is looking to
overriding
resettle Gaza.
security
That's
control
why
there
they're
to
flattening it.
prevent
Not even
insurgents
probably.
of terror,
The Israeli
ensure
government
that
accounts have
Gaza
posted
never
about this
again
on social
faces
media.
threat of
Israeli real estate developers have been talking about this as well. They want to pulverize Gaza, either force out or kill all the Palestinians that live there, and then set up some nice beachfront property for
Gaza
settlers.
should have a civilian administration
The only reason
run by
he's saying this
Palestinians
probably is because
who do
now
not
the
seek
eye
to
of the
destroy
entire
Israel.
world
That's
has
not
been
too
on
much
him
to
for
ask.
some time.
It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive.
God, how funny would it be if this fuck
A
just
new
gets
generation
arrested the
of
moment he's done with
Palestinians
this speech?
must
Like,
no
alright,
longer be
bucko,
taught to hate Jews,
we're turning you over
but
to the
rather to
international
live
courts.
in
Get
peace
fucked.
with us. Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security. Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace. That's my vision for Gaza. Now here's my vision for the broader Middle East. It's also shaped in part.
Is he talking about Greater Israel now?
We saw in the
Bold
aftermath
choice,
of
given the
World War
audience that he's in front of.
II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All
Cold War
countries
rhetoric.
that
This
are
appeals
pleased
more to
with Israel,
conservatives than liberals,
and all
I
those
find.
countries who will make
I
peace
think
with
most
us
people find as well.
should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th. Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together. The new alliance I envision would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. We could call... I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance.
Oh, wow, what? The fucking mushroom pad didn't give me a bounce. That's kind of crazy.
President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
Okay, here's the part where he gives Trump the glizzy. Let's hope he, like, goes really hard into that. The more partisan he is, the more this, like, reflects negatively on him, I think. Which is good.
Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracy.
No, I fucked that part up. So close to getting it perfect.
I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights to confronting Iran's aggression.
Ah, okay. Still giving Trump the glizzy. This is probably... The more Netanyahu reveals how much of a fascist he is, the better. Oh, nice.
That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again.
Ow. Great. Our eternal capital. Fucking... Tell me more about how you're definitely not just a Jewish Nazi, you know? Would love to hear it.
My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful about the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our
Dude,
sovereignty.
why
in
are
our
all
ancient
fascists
homeland.
so fucking boring and
We built a
riskless?
powerful
Jesus
and vibrant
Christ.
democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776.
He's trying to butter up politicians to give him more money. Of course, that's part of this. So he's going to obviously speak favorably about America. What a fucking sleazeball, dude. And he's not even that interesting. Every fascist sounds exactly the same. This sounds almost the same as, like, people at the RNC. He's just doing a little bit more of playing the victim.
I promise you this.
You know, the nation talking points, the eternal enemy, fucking insert group here is subhuman.
Israel will not
It's all
relent.
the fucking
Israel
same.
will not bend. We will defend our land. We will defend our people. We will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty. Rather, victory of liberty
Our
over
land, our
tyranny,
people.
victory
One
of
nation,
life
one
over
vote,
death,
blah, blah,
victory
blah.
of good over evil.
Shut up.
That's our solemn
Jesus.
commitment.
How long is this speech even supposed to be? Jesus. Oh, is that it? Oh.
From a backwater
No, it is not it. I
Russian
just
poverty
accidentally
and
clicked
war
something else.
into
That
a
was,
thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as
God, I
many
wish.
others,
I fucking wish that was
Israel
it for
will
the
always
speech.
remain
The timing,
an
yeah.
indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend and your steadfast partner. On behalf of the people of Israel, I came here today to say thank you, America.
Ooh, almost.
Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations.
Okay. Bro got pretty close to just saying the 14 words. You know?
May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever.
What the fuck? My grift didn't come out. How wacky. What are they clapping about? The fuck? Fifth place? Oh, is he done? Fucking finally, dude. Jesus Christ. Okay, they're interviewing him. I'm gonna mute this now, I think. Shaking hands with the Republicans. Look at that, the fucking... Oh, that's Fetterman. I was gonna say he's shaking hands with the Republicans. That's Fetterman right there, the most hardcore Zionist in Congress. Ironically, a Democrat who said that brain damage made him more conservative. I'm not joking. Like, I'm not even exaggerating either. He said that his stroke, which gave him brain damage, made him more conservative. You be the judge. Actually, no, I will be the judge. That is a tried and true trend. You know, scientific data actually does show us conservatives tend to be dumber. And being dumber does make you more conservative. Anyway, get this shit off my screen. Thank you. Holy fuck. Fascists are goddamn rizless human beings. I don't know what I expected from that speech, honestly. I just kind of watched it because, like, oh shit, that's politics. That's happening live. That'll be interesting. Like, the fuck? The fact that he's able to just waltz into Congress and talk about that shit, like, unabated. The fact that he doesn't get arrested on site is a fucking, like, is a fucking disgrace. Just ethically speaking, disgrace. And, you know, it's a giant failure on America's part that we haven't decided that Netanyahu needs to go. Like, I've mentioned before that America basically has free reign to do whatever it wants with regards to Israel because, like, without us, there's no Israel. Joe Biden has even said, were there not an Israel, the U.S. would need to invent one. That's all us, baby. And meanwhile, the U.S. is over here in, like, in the cuck chair, in the sneako chair in the corner, while Netanyahu, like, refuses every, like, request for respecting international law, lies blatantly, and then says, by the way, give me more money to, like, obliterate Palestinians. Like, the fuck? I hate that guy. Trump is at least funny. In the hierarchy, if you're gonna be fascist, you better have some fucking mimetic value so that watching you isn't boring as balls. Netanyahu doesn't have that. He's just a, like, fucking evil old man who wants to kill every Palestinian on the face of the earth and, you know, is a war criminal. It just walks on into Congress. He fucking brought his dirty laundry to the United States specifically to make American laundry services clean it for him. There's, like, a special dignitary service that does laundry. And just as a fucking show of, like, entitlement, he said, like, yeah, let's pack the dirty clothes and bring them to America so we can make the Americans do our dirty laundry. Because, like, you know, geopolitically speaking, that's what America's been doing already, is Israel's dirty laundry. I think I'm going to chain this. I can kind of feel the shock coming. Yeah. Christ. Alright, I better get an item at the next set. Okay, the next set. Next set isn't that far forward, so give me one. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Come through. Oh, nice. Ow. Fuck. Ow! Jesus. That kind of worked. Not exactly, but, like, a little bit. God damn it. I remember this track. We like this one quite a lot for it being one of the first and only we played. Yeah, this track is something. I don't think it has aged all that well. Particularly with the ending section. The Gyarados as the Wigglers are very janky. And I think given how low of a margin of error there is on those last 2 turns, those Gyarados do not need to be there. They can just be off in the off-road for scenery effect. Yeah. It was cool when it came out. I don't know how I feel about it now. Definitely not as bad as a track like Item Fireland or Yoshi Lagoon. But I could see that one being on the chopping block in the next few update cycles. Then again, it's possible that comp players fucking love that track, so in that case, it'll never get axed, because one thing I've learned about CCGP over time, there are some cool custom tracks, but no matter how bad your track is, if competitive players like it, it's never getting axed, and no matter how good your track is, if competitive players don't like it, if it's a luck track, it's never getting into CCGP, so that's the unfortunate reality of it. We didn't have that happen to us when we played it the one time? Yeah, and like, obviously part of that is due to my failures on the track that race. You know, but I think also that the track just leaves something to be desired. I mean, for shit's sake, Stroben's Desert Illusion is a track in the pack. You know, this is clearly not something that's being decided on how good a track is. It was nice to have in for, like, one update cycle, but the fact that that shit wasn't gone immediately, I think cemented for me that, like, yeah, this is just the distribution that all the competitive players like. I think I'm warming up to Retro Rewind more day after day. And, like, if there was another custom track distribution that had, like, more beginner-friendly tracks than this, that were, like, original designs, you know, that'd be cool. Because fuck the competitive player base. Whenever developers and modders cater to the competitive player base exclusively, games die. It's the casuals that keep a game alive. In fact, the casuals are just about the only people you should be listening to when designing a game that isn't a competitive game. So, like, Mario Kart, yeah, people play it competitively, but at its core, it's a casual, like, party racing game, you know? Kind of like how with Super Smash Bros., part of the reason that Wii U and Ultimate fell off a little bit with time, in terms of, like, well, I guess maybe not so much Ultimate, but Wii U especially, like, when you have a game that's supposed to have a wide appeal and you start catering it towards a competitive audience, it loses the wide appeal. That's probably why the player base in CTGP is so fucking barren. Because the devs have only catered to the competitive player base. They haven't really thrown the casuals a bone. Or they haven't made things casual friendly. You can have tracks that are beginner friendly that are also good and competitive, but, like, whatever you do, you can't have tracks that are only, like, veteran friendly. You know? Like, one Kaizo track max, I think, should be the allowance there. Even a track like this is, you know, is pushing it. Oh, that's... okay. Chaining this. God, seriously, I've gone on an arc the past few years from being a competitive player to fucking hating competitive players for how much they ruin the gaming landscape for games that aren't inherently, like, competitive games. Street Fighter, different story. Fighting games have, like, the inherent competitive element to them. Melee, different story. That shit was accidentally really cool competitively. That, like, none of that was on purpose. Almost 100% satisfied with the changes, so I can't explain much. What my game is doing right now, killing the competitiveness, but making the game mode perfect for casuals. To be honest, almost 100% satisfied with all the changes. Yeah, like, games, when they have a wide appeal, or, like, sometimes you can make games with a niche audience or whatever. I think Street Fighter and some of the FGC games are pretty good at that, you know? They know how to, like, have a competitive audience, and the game be for a competitive audience, because it's not... like, fundamentally, there's not much about it that's supposed to be for casuals. That wasn't the original purpose of the game. But you take a game like Mario Kart and be like, yeah, here's a hack pack, a mod pack that's only for competitive players, but we're marketing it as, like, a wide, like, oh shit, cool custom tracks sort of thing. It's doomed to fail. And that's, like, it took removing the rose-tinted lenses by playing Retro Rewind, but I think that's why CTGP has fallen off so hard. Yeah, I think I think this is gonna be, if I can help it, I'm not gonna stream CTGP anymore. There's just so many player hostile decisions that have been made over the past, honestly, the past couple of years. There was a period of time from like 2020 to 22 where the tracks getting added were so fucking cool, right? Like really, really cool tracks. But then like for a brief moment, CTGP had a breath of fresh air where they decided not every track has to be Kaizo. Not every track has to be 3 minutes long. Not every track has to be competitive only and have a million different shortcuts that make or break your racing experience. For a brief period of time, we had that. And then for whatever reason, you know, probably because of the voting system, which favored people who were heavily involved and thus catered to competitive players more than casual players, it went back to now being the track of Kaizo, really long Kaizo tracks that are almost exclusively for competitive use. It like straight up, it built a wide appeal only to then sabotage that by listening to the competitive player base. That I don't know. Okay, well, the target shock happened anyway, but the banana throw. Did everybody? Okay, no, first got away scot-free. Fucking hell, dude. Ow. Okay, get me up here. Yeah. Ow, and I'm dead. Cool. Great game, great custom track pack. Okay. No, Bullet, what are you doing? Jesus. Okay, thank you for dodging me. Christ. Probably do one more. Yeah, I think one more is in order, and then that'll be it for me. You know what, though? If CTGP implemented the VR system that Retro Rewind has, I think it would be a little bit more attractive to new players. Not to say that VR matters, because it's a bullshit number, and, like, I enjoy racing and interacting with chat more than anything. The thing that frustrates me is just how hard the tracks are and how unforgiving they are for new players. I think you could kind of, like, dull that edge by, like, making it way less punishing for people to get bottom spots. But they'll never do that because this is for competitive players, not a broad player base. I mean, the player count fucking reflects that, right? There's only, how many people are online? 15, great. There are only 15 people online on CTGP right now. God, I hope Retro Rewind gets good servers. Once Retro Rewind gets good servers, it's fucking Jover for CTGP. And I think that's for the better. Because then CTGP will either die off, or it'll have to, that was us. I know what you mean. You got wrecked so hard just trying to figure out where he had to go. Yeah. Once Retro Rewind gets much more stable servers, CTGP either dies or adjusts to be more friendly to a new player base. And I think that's for the best. Like, look at this shit. Look at this fucking track. I mentioned Stroben's Desert Illusion, how bad of a track it is. And, like, here it is getting picked. God damn. Alright. Fuck it. Ow, the fuck? Where did that green shell come from? Another block question for my project in Discord. Okay, cool. I didn't get a box, but that's probably okay. Maybe. Please don't hit me. That fucking tornado doesn't need to be there. Oh, what? You can't cut that? I just saw him cut that. The fuck? Damn. See, there's what I meant about the, like, make or break shortcuts. I'll probably only be able to get to that after stream. Ow. The fuck? Great. None of these hazards need to be here, by the way. Yeah. Gotcha. How am I gaining spots? What? Oh, I might be lagging. Or triple mushrooms? Okay. Ah, damn. Oh, yes. Okay. This is perfect. With that. Okay. Yes? What's up, Yoshi? Fourth? I will take fourth on that track. Christ. I deserve first for how well I raced that track. Remove the Shy Guys. They do not need to be there. Fucking Shy Guys do not need to exist on this track. Alright, I'm out. That's enough CTGP for a considerable amount of time. I think I would like to stick with Retro Rewind if possible. Jesus Christ. Being in chatters, you guys are working hard, but I think you guys need to address some of the shit that I mentioned. That, like, the hostility to new players is not doing anything for you right now. Alright. But look, if they want it to be a competitive pack, then that's what they want. But they should be clear about that. It just, yeah, you know. Yeah. Alright. Raid time. Azan is live. We're rating Azan. You guys have heard my thoughts being very mixed on Hassan in the past, but I think what's important is that he acts like more of an adult than 99% of people in the online politics space, and I care about that a lot. So, have fun. He's probably going to also be talking about the Netanyahu speech, so get ready for more of that. Have a good one. See you later. Later.